In the infinite reaches of space, where human ambition dares to challenge the cosmos, one name stands as a beacon of courage, ingenuity, and humility: Jim Lovell. A naval aviator, test pilot, and NASA astronaut, Lovell's life was a testament to the power of perseverance, from his record-breaking Gemini missions to his historic orbit of the Moon on Apollo 8 and his heroic leadership during the near-catastrophic Apollo 13 mission. Immortalized by Tom Hanks in the 1995 film Apollo 13, Lovell's story of survival and determination captured the world's imagination, showing what it means to face the impossible with grace under pressure. On August 7, 2025, at the age of 97, Jim Lovell left this world, his legacy etched in the stars he once explored. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of Jim Lovell. His cause of death, his age, his family, his net worth, his lifestyle, and the biography of a man who embodied the spirit of exploration. So, buckle up, and let's journey through the life of an American icon whose reach extended far beyond Earth. James Arthur Lovell Jr. was born on March 25, 1928, in Cleveland, Ohio, the only child of James Lovell Sr., a coal furnace salesman of Canadian descent, and Blanche Masick, a woman of Czech heritage whose strength shaped young Jim's resilience. His early life was marked by hardship when his father died in a car accident in 1933, leaving 5-year-old Jim and his mother to navigate a world of financial strain. They moved to Terre Haute, Indiana, for 2 years, living with a relative, before settling in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they often resided in a modest one-room apartment. Despite these challenges, Jim's curiosity burned bright. As a teenager, he built model rockets, visited the Adler Planetarium, and devoured science fiction, dreaming of flight. An Eagle Scout, he honed his discipline and leadership at Juneau High School, graduating in 1946. Unable to afford elite schools like MIT or Caltech, Jim attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison for 2 years through the Navy's Flying Midshipman program, working odd jobs like washing dishes and tending lab rats to scrape by. In 1948, he secured a nomination to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, where he studied engineering and wrote a treatise on liquid propellant rocket engines, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in 1952. This blend of grit and intellect set the stage for a career that would redefine human exploration. Lovell's path to the stars began in the Navy, where he became a naval aviator, logging over 7,000 flight hours and mastering 107 carrier landings on the USS Shangri-La with F-2H Banshee night fighters. In 1958, he graduated top of his class at the Naval Air Test Center in Maryland, working with radar and later managing the F-4 Phantom II program. His skill earned him the nickname Shaky from peers like Pete Conrad, a playful jab at his precision under pressure. Initially rejected for NASA's Mercury 7 in 1959 due to a high bilirubin count, a possible liver issue that later resolved, Lovell's persistence paid off when he was selected in 1962 as part of the next 9 for the Gemini and Apollo programs. His first spaceflight, Gemini 7 in 1965, was a grueling 14-day mission with Frank Borman, testing human endurance in a capsule so cramped they couldn't stretch their legs. Lovell called it 2 weeks in a men's room, yet their success proved humans could survive long-duration spaceflight. In 1966, he commanded Gemini 12 with Buzz Aldrin, perfecting spacewalks that paved the way for Apollo. Apollo 8 in 1968 was a historic leap, making Lovell, Borman, and William Anders the first humans to orbit the Moon. On Christmas Eve, they broadcast to over 1 billion people, reading from Genesis and sharing the awe-inspiring Earthrise photo, a moment that sparked the environmental movement. Lovell's words, "The Earth from here is a grand oasis in the big vastness of space," resonated deeply, capturing humanity's fragile place in the cosmos. Apollo 13, in 1970, became Lovell's defining moment. Commanding the mission with Jack Swigert and Fred Hayes, he aimed to land in the Moon's from Morrow Highlands. But 56 hours into the flight, an oxygen tank explosion 200,000 miles from Earth crippled the command module, triggering Swigert's now iconic words, "Houston, we've had a problem," echoed by Lovell. With the lunar landing aborted, the crew used the lunar module Aquarius as a lifeboat, enduring freezing temperatures, limited water, 6 ounces daily, and rising carbon dioxide levels. Lovell's calm leadership shone as they jury-rigged solutions, like adapting square command module canisters to fit the lunar module's round openings using plastic bags and tape. Navigating manually by Earth's Terminator line, a technique he'd practiced on Apollo 8, Lovell guided the crew through a 4-day ordeal, splashing down safely in the Pacific on April 17, 1970. Dubbed a successful failure, Apollo 13 showcased NASA's ingenuity and Lovell's composure, earning him the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1970 and the Congressional Space Medal of Honor in 1995. The mission's drama, later captured in the Oscar-winning Apollo 13 film, made Lovell a household name, with Tom Hanks' portrayal cementing his legacy. After retiring from NASA and the Navy in 1973, Lovell transitioned to business, serving as CEO of Bay Houston Towing Company and founding Lovell Communications. He co-authored Lost Moon with Jeffrey Kluger in 1994, the basis for the Apollo 13 film, where he made a cameo as a naval captain. A sought-after speaker, he shared his story at events like the National Air and Space Museum's 50th anniversary of Apollo 8 in 2018, inspiring STEM education. He donated artifacts to the Adler Planetarium, where Apollo 8 is displayed, and his name graces the Captain James A. Lovell Federal Healthcare Center in Illinois. His reflections on the fragility of Earth, voiced during Apollo 8, influenced environmental awareness, and his leadership inspired NASA's Artemis program. On August 7, 2025, Jim Lovell passed away in Lake Forest, Illinois, at 97, as confirmed by NASA and his family. Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy mourned his loss, saying, "Jim's character and steadfast courage helped our nation reach the moon and turned a potential tragedy into a success." The Lovell family's statements celebrated his unshakable optimism, sense of humor, and the way he made each of us feel we could do the impossible. Neither NASA nor the family disclosed a specific cause of death, leaving it uncertain whether it was age-related or linked to other health issues. A 1959 disqualification from the Mercury program due to a high bilirubin count, possibly indicating a liver concern, was resolved by 1962, and no chronic illnesses were publicly noted in his later years. Tributes flooded in, with Tom Hanks posting on Instagram, and posts on X calling him a true American hero. His passing, alongside other recent losses, marked a poignant moment for the space community, as noted by NBC News. Lovell's family was his cornerstone. He married Marilyn Lily Gerlach on June 6, 1952, after meeting her in high school. Their 71-year marriage, a beacon of devotion, lasted until Marilyn's death in August 2023 at 93 from natural causes. Together, they raised 4 children, Barbara, James III, Jay, Susan, and Jeffrey, who grew up in Timber Cove, Houston, during NASA's heyday, with a low-interest mortgage offered to astronauts. Marilyn became a public figure during Apollo 13, her resilience under media scrutiny a quiet heroism. Lovell credited her as his anchor, and their bond endured through his travels to Europe, Asia, Australia, and Africa. He was a grandfather to several grandchildren, though details remain private. The family's Lake Forest home welcomed guests like Jeffrey Kluger, whose daughters joined Lovell to marvel at the Apollo 8 exhibit. A lunar mountain, Mount Marilyn, named by Lovell during Apollo 8, was officially recognized in 2017, a tribute to his wife's enduring presence. Jim Lovell's net worth was estimated at $2 million at his death, according to Mabum. NASA salaries in the 1960s were modest, $17,000 to $20,000 annually, but his wealth grew through royalties from Lost Moon, consulting for Apollo 13, public speaking, and business ventures like Bay Houston Towing and Lovell Communications. He owned a home in Lake Forest and briefly ran a restaurant there, living comfortably but not extravagantly. His true wealth, he often said, was his family and the experiences that defined his life, from carrier landings to lunar orbits. Lovell's lifestyle was a blend of adventure and humility. He described himself as a man of the earth, a naval officer, a father, a homeowner who just happened to have been to space. In Houston's Timber Cove, he and Marilyn raised their children amidst the astronaut community. After retiring, they settled in Lake Forest, enjoying vacations to distant corners of the world, with Lovell jokingly listing the moon among his destinations. He approached missions with a workmanlike mindset, comparing Apollo 13 to playing a game of solitaire, just work the next problem. His faith, reflected in his Apollo 8 Genesis reading, offered quiet strength, and he remained active into his 90s, speaking at events like a 2020 Today Show interview, where he expressed no regrets. "I think I'm very fortunate." His love for sharing his story, whether with schoolchildren or at museums, underscored his commitment to inspiring others. Jim Lovell's legacy is cosmic in scope. One of only 3 astronauts to travel to the moon twice, he logged 715 hours in space, a record at his retirement. His Apollo 8 Earthrise reflections and Apollo 13 leadership shaped environmental awareness and NASA's resilience. Awards like the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Congressional Space Medal of Honor, and U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame induction reflect his impact. The Illinois Senate's James A. Lovell Day honors his contributions. His advice to Jeffrey Kluger, "Remember where you're standing when the spotlight goes off," captures his grounded wisdom. To his children, grandchildren, and the world, Lovell was a hero who proved that with calm determination, no challenge is too great. His story, etched in books, films, and the hearts of those he inspired, reminds us to reach for the stars while cherishing the Earth. Thank you for joining me in celebrating the extraordinary life of Jim Lovell. If his journey moved you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep his spirit soaring, inspiring us to face every challenge with courage. Until next time, keep looking to the stars.